Hey guys, Yu-Gi-Oh! Budget X here, bringing you the first video for this channel, Yosenju. Yosenju is a pretty competitive deck, about tier 2, maybe tier 1.5, and it's pretty budget friendly. The main and extra deck will cost you $160. I don't run any of the more expensive cards like Lose One Turn or Exciton Knight, because those cards are too expensive for a single piece of cardboard. But with that aside, let's jump into the deck profile. For your monsters, you've got 3 Yosenju, 1, 3 Yosenju, 2, 3 Yosenju, 3, 2 Yosenju Shinshu L, 2 Yosenju Sujik, and 1 Thunder King Ryo. 1's effect lets you bounce one face-up card your opponent controls back to their hand while you control another Yosenju monster. Yosenju, 2 can attack directly for half the damage. Yosenju, 3 can search for a Yosenju card when one of your other Yosenju monsters deals battle damage. All 3 of your combo cards plus Yosenju Sujik will go back to your hand during the end phase that they were normal summoned. Then we've got Yosenju Shinshu L. The Pendulum effect protects your Yosenju monsters from being destroyed by battle or card effect, and the on-field effect protects your monsters from being targeted. Then you've got Yosenju Sujik. Yosenju Sujik is like a mini Honest. You can discard it during the damage step for plus 1000 attack, or you can normal summon it and give plus 1000 to your monsters on field. And then you've got Thunder King Ryo. It's a cheap anti-meta card. For your spells, you've got 3 Fire Formation Tenki, 3 Pot of Duality, 2 Mystical Space Typhoon, 1 Book of Moon, and 1 Dark Hole. Your Fire Formation Tenki searches for all of your Yosenju monsters except Yosenju Shinshu L, because Shinshu L is a rock type. Then you've got Pot of Duality. It helps you dig for more cards. You're going to want to use this to search for more traps. Traps will protect your monsters. Mystical Space Typhoon is a staple. Book of Moon is a staple. Dark Hole is here because Raigeki is too expensive. And Dark Hole works really well in this deck because since all of your monsters bounce back to hand during the end phase, at the start of your main phase 1, the next turn you won't have any monsters. So you can just Dark Hole the field and then summon all your Yosenjus and just swing. For your traps, you've got 3 Yosenju Secret Move, 3 Fiendish Chain, 3 Mirror Force, 2 Mind Crush, Vanity's Emptiness, Macrocosmos, Bottomless, Torrential, and Solemn Warning. Yosenju Secret Move, I like to run it. A lot of players drop it to 2 or don't even run it at all, but it's a searchable Solemn Judgment, and it can be used while you have Shinshu L in the Pendulum Zone but no other monsters on the field, so it's really good. Then you've got your triple Fiendish Chain to stop effects. Things like Trishula and Satellanites, those are a big problem, so you're going to want to stop those. Mirror Force is really important in this deck because on your opponent's turn you won't have any monsters unless you went for an Xyz summon, but I don't recommend it. You should just keep all of your Yosenjus in your hand. They generate more advantage than you would like summoning an Xyz monster. Then you've got 2 Mind Crush. Mind Crush is just a meta call card, stops Necros, stops the Telenites. Then you've got Vanity's Emptiness. This deck doesn't special summon, so it works really well. And if you have Macrocosmos, none of your cards will even go to the graveyard, so they'll have to destroy Macro and then destroy, or they'll have to destroy Macro to send Vanities to the grave. Bottomless Trap Hole, Torrential, and Warning are staples. Then for your extra deck, you've got Lightning Chidori, number 101, Silent Honor Arc, Castell, 2 Tiger Kings, Abyss Dweller, 2 Cowboys, number 82, Heartland Draco, Antiluminescent Knight, 103 Ragna Zero, Direwolf, number 80 Rhapsody and Berserk, Steel Swarm Roach, and a Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. The extra deck is pretty self-explanatory. The Cowboys are there, you just have to get your opponent to 1600 or less life points and you can go for game with Cowboys. If you're trying to cut out some more expensive cards like 101, Chidori, or Castel, I recommend you at least pick up a Chidori because Chidori I've gone into more than any of these other Xyzs in the entire extra deck. Um, Honor Arc is, uh, it comes up, but it's not as useful as Castel. Um, so if you're gonna drop anything, you should just drop Honor Arc. The Tiger Kings don't come up that often either. It's not often that I need to negate any monster effects on the field. Abyss Dweller is good against Burning Abyss and Shaddolls, so um, that's pretty good. Cowboys for game, Heartland Draco, it's not that useful. The only spell that will stay on the field would be Tenki and Shinshu L, but you don't ever really need to attack directly for 2000. If you get your opponent between 1600 and 2000, I guess you could go for Heartland Draco, but it'd be better to just swing with all of your Yosenjus. Antiluminescent Knight, you don't really have anything that you want to switch the target away from. There's nothing that you really need to protect except maybe Macro. 103 is good for certain matchups. Direwolf for popping Macro. Number 80 for certain matchups. Steelstorm Roach is in here for Ritual Beast. It's a really annoying deck that I don't like playing against, but when I do, you have to make Steelstorm Roach and they can't even Ritual Summon. Then you've got Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. I side deck the Cyber Dragon, and it's one of my only two outs against towers. The only other out would be a side deck creature swap, but even then, it's not as reliable because you can't creature swap them if they have more than one monster on the field. If they have towers and they have like a 1300, one of their other lower cliff warts, they can just switch that, and you're just still gonna have to face towers. The side deck isn't accounted into the price. These are just cards that you should pick up for the side deck. They're really useful against matchups. Um, Light Imprisoning Mirror for Satella Knights, Shadow Imprisoning Mirror for things like Burning Abyss and Shaddolls. Iron Wall is for those Ritual Beasts and Cosmos. Fairy Wind is for Cliffwards. Cyber Dragon for Cliffwards. Creature Swap for anything that like summons monsters that you can't get over, or maybe like against Monarch decks that summon like Majesty's Fiend or Vanity's Fiend. You can just take their monsters, and then in the end phase, don't attack your Yosenjus, and during the end phase they'll bounce back to your hand. So that's why creature swaps are really good in this deck. But there's no room for them in the main deck. Another card you might want to consider is And the Bandplate. The effect says neither player can special summon monsters with the same level as those they control. Neither player can special summon monsters with the same rank as they control. You don't special summon at all with your Yosenjus. They all normal summon each other, so you can spam Yosenjus, but they can't spam anything else because things like Constellars and Satella Knights, they special summon and not normal summon. So that's really good too. But yeah, that's the deck profile. If you like it, leave a like, please subscribe. And that's it. Thanks.